Hey everyone, welcome back to the Leah Loves to Knit podcast. Today is Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, and this is episode 9. Today I have a couple of works in progress to share with you. A few finished objects. I have some 2026 knitting plans and a little bit about the Adventurally make-along to share with you. So let's get started. My very first work in progress, I don't think I even shared this on the last episode. It is this pair of socks. I made these for my husband, gave them to him for Christmas. And the yarn is, let me grab my stuff here. The yarn is Silver from 3 by the Sea. It is on their Destin DK base. It is a superwash merino nylon mix, so you can make the DK socks with it. And I finished the pair on Christmas. I knit, let's see, 10 rounds on the cuff, I think like 30 on the leg, and I knit them up to a men's 11 shoe size. I did the medium 64 stitches, and this is the DK weight vanilla socks pattern from the Crazy Sock Lady. I think it's free on her Ravelry page. So I just used their 3 by the Sea skein of silver, and I'm not sure how much is left, but this is it. So I'm going to hold on to that in my scraps. And I didn't show you guys like as I was working on it because I cast on and finished after the last episode. So I also used this Midwest Stitches bag. I thought it just matched really well, like the silver of the snowflakes and the silver of the yarn went really well together. And if you've been here for the last few episodes, you know I like my yarn and my bag to coordinate. So silver with the silver bag just made sense to me. So I used this bag, and I actually got this in a Advent swap that I did this year with Danielle of Midwest Stitches. This is one of the gifts that she put in my Scrappy Advent. So thank you, Danielle. That is totally the perfect match there. All right, so my second finished object, it was actually a set of 3. I made these little hats. I made 2 smaller ones for my nieces. I've already sent one off in the mail. And then I made a third for my daughter. It was all out of the same skein of bulky yarn. I was surprised that I was able to get so much out of that. But the pattern that I used for these was free from Sorella. It was on her website. I'll link it down below too. And it's called the Super Bulky Knit Hat. I actually knit all 3 of them like within an evening. They were super quick. I used US 11 circular needles, and I made the 2-year-old size, the 3 to 5-year-old size, and this one is an adult small for my daughter. I measured her head. She's 10, and she's like on the verge of I think it was up to 10, I don't remember, 8 to 10-year-old, and then adult small. So I went with the adult small because I want her to be able to wear it later on. And this yarn is from my stash. My gosh, this is from so long ago. I think I got it 8 years ago. It would be about 8 years ago. We used to have a local yarn shop. Quillen's Fiber Arts is the dyer behind this, and she had a yarn shop here where I live. I went with my daughter, and it closed like maybe 2 months after we finally had discovered it. So that was kind of a bummer. But I don't remember the colorway name for this one, but I'm guessing it had something to do with pink. And I think it was a bulky weight yarn. That's what I used. The pattern that I used is for bulky weight yarn. And I think this would have been a size 5 yarn because I don't think it was super bulky. I don't have the tag anymore because it's from 8 years ago. So, yeah, those are my other finished objects. And got a couple of works in progress to share with you. The very first one is a secret pattern that I have been working on. Really excited about this one. I'm actually going to put out a tester call tomorrow on the 31st. So I'll link the application below if you're interested in applying for the test. It is a secret pattern that'll get released later in January, I think towards the end of the month. So I'm just going to show you the back of it. I'll tell you the details about the yarn and everything, but I'm going to show you the back because the front has some details that I'm not like ready to share, but I've also been working on it and I'm really excited. So first, the bag here is from Katie's Randomness. This is her winter Gilmore Girls bag. I think I showed it on the last episode, but I didn't have a project in it. But once again, I thought it went really nicely with my yarn. So the yarn that I used for this project is by Yarnaceous, and it was from the Gilmore Girls collection that she released in the fall. This was during the Knit People Knit knit-along that I hosted, and this colorway was called Chilton Academy. So it's a really pretty blue. Okay. I knit this pair, or this sock, it's going to be a pair eventually. I knit this up on US 1 9-inch circulars. I am at the toe currently, so that is the only reason that I have the magic loop needles on here, because if you know me, you know that I hate magic loop, and I'm only using it for the toe. So I'm going to turn it this way so you can see just the detailing that I have going on the back here. There is something more like happening on the front. I just can't share it with you yet. So got a 1x1 cuff there, and I thought the heel kind of tied in nicely with like the stitching. Gosh, it's hard to show because I don't have the sock blocker in it. But I can't put it in there because I'm working on the toe. Okay, so I thought like the stripes that I have going down the back of the sock went really nicely with the garter stitch heel, and there is something more happening on the front. I just can't show it to you yet. But it fits the theme of like what we're collaborating on perfectly. So if you are interested in testing this secret sock, I'll link the tester application below as well. I will put a picture of the front because I don't think it's fair to ask you to test something and not like show you what I have going on, but it is not as hard as it looks, and it turns out so pretty. So that'll be linked down below if you are interested with a picture of like the full view. If you don't want to test it, then wait and be surprised later on in January. Okay, so that was my secret sock, and my next work in progress is one that you have seen before. I have one sock finished, and let me turn the page in my notes here. Okay, this is the Santa's Acid Trip socks. The yarn is by Swan City Yarns. It's the same name, Santa's Acid Trip. And I'm doing the vanilla scoop pattern. This is one of my patterns that released a couple weeks ago. You can kind of mix and match to make like your perfect vanilla sock. So I included different ways that you can knit your cuff, your heel, and your toe, and also the heel turn. I have 3 cuffs in there, 2 heel turns, 3 heel types, and then 4 different toes that you can mix and match, like kind of create your own perfect vanilla sock recipe using all the different elements. So if you're interested, I'll link that below also. This is the Santa's Acid Trip socks. So when I started them last episode, I want to say it was like, I was barely in there. And I'm actually working on the second sock now. You can see it here. I think it's neat too. Let me move that out of the way. How it's starting to pool differently. Then the first sock, you can see like the blue is kind of coming swirly down the front. And on this one, it's like going around. So maybe my tension has changed or something. There has been a lot of stress the last couple of weeks as I've been working on that. So that would totally make sense if my tension is off for the second sock. So the yarn is by Swan City Yarns. It's called Santa's Acid Trip. And then for the, let me see, the green up here on the cuff, heel, and toe, I used this little highlighter mini. It's a really fun combination there. These are probably going to go to my daughter. I have been knitting her socks in the same shoe size as me, a woman's 7.5, because she's like barely to that size. And then I figured if she just keeps growing, then I can have all my socks back. And I'll knit her new ones, of course. But so at this point, she has taken almost every pair of socks that I've made. So I knit them to a US 7.5 women's. And I've gotten a couple of questions about how I measure my socks. So I have this sock ruler here. I don't know if you can see my markings on it, but I have them like lightly done in pencil. So I have all the kids step on the sock ruler, like set it down, line up their heel, and I'll measure where their toe is and mark that. So like they're really faintly drawn on there. That way I can erase, like as the kids grow, I can erase their old size and add their new size to it. So I just put there like the mark for their entire foot, and then I measure down from there where I want to start the toe, because like a couple of the toes in the vanilla sock pattern that I put out, you like measure the foot to different lengths and you stop at certain points before you do the toe, because some of the toes are a little bit longer than toes that I've knit in the past. So I have everybody in pencil, and then you can just erase, and as they grow you can fix it. Or kind of what I've done too is do like maybe half an inch bigger than their shoe size. That way the sock like lasts longer. So I'm not just knitting like tiny socks all the time. So that's been really helpful. It is called the sock ruler, and you can actually get it on Amazon too. They have a website, thesockruler.com. And I've seen different versions of these. So far, this has been my favorite. I do have the twice sheared sheep one where it's like a slat bracelet and it rolls up, and that's really nice to throw in your project bag also. And then I have a wooden one that I like, but I'm scared to kind of carry it with me because I don't want it to break. This one actually fits like sideways down into my purse. It doesn't ever fit like in a sock bag, but it fits sideways in my purse. So when I take the socks on the go, realize that might look crazy taking it out, but when you're getting close to the toe, you want to stop and measure, even if you're knitting in public. So this has been one of my favorite purchases for making sure I get everybody's sock size correct and I don't have to memorize them. So I have that linked down in my Amazon storefront too, if you guys are interested in that. And not sure if I mentioned the bag already. This is another Midwest Stitches bag, and she also gifted this one to me in our Advent exchange this year. It says Grinch Before Coffee. It's also really cute, and drawstrings from her shop were my favorite before she closed, so glad she remembered that I like the drawstrings. Okay, let me see what I have next for works in progress. I've been working on some Advent socks. It's the 2025 Freckled Whimsy Advent. It is called Frosted Garland, or it might have been like Frosted Winter Garland. But every year Freckled Whimsy has been putting out, for the last couple years, a self-striping. It's 25 different colors. So if you knit a stripe a day, like by Christmas, you'll have a pair of socks if you work on them 2 at a time, that's where I started. I think last time I showed them to you, I was on day 9, which this one is still on day 9. It is the blue stripe down there. So this sock hasn't gotten any attention. The other one really hasn't gotten that much either. Just a little bit. So I added in one light purple stripe here. And I'm working on my, I'm going to try and straighten the stripes out for you. This is my dragonfly sock pattern. I had to stop and think. I was going to call it daisy chain, but that's not my daisy chain pattern. This is the dragonfly sock that I came out with in the fall for our Gilmore Girls knit along. Works really well with the self-striping. So since my last episode, I've only added that purple stripe. But I'm going to be working on that as part of the Adventurally knit along that starts on January 1st. So I'll tell you more about that a little bit down the road. But I think my plan for these is to do 12 stripes down the leg. This one is at 10. And then I have this like kind of silvery color, the mini that came with it. I'm going to use that as the heel. And I might use it for the toe, just kind of depending on, I guess, where my foot length is at when I'm close enough to the toe. If I knit like more or less than the 24 stripes, it's fine. But I think if I do like 12 on the leg, and then the set that I made the last year, I was able to do 12 stripes on the foot and get the whole set in, if that makes sense, like without having to repeat any of the colors. So not a lot of progress on this work in progress, but a tiny bit, and it's still pretty. So I have also been keeping this in my 3 by the Sea bag. I got this in their latest winter update. It's really pretty too. All right, so as far as works in progress goes, that's everything that I have finished or that I've like been actively working on. There are a couple of make-alongs coming up in the new year that I'm really excited about, and I have some works in progress that are going to kind of tie in with that. And I have a couple of future knitting plans too that I want to share with you. So, sorry if I'm a little bit scattered. I have a lot of stuff down here. This is another Midwest Stitches bag. I think this is from her Christmas update, like last year, one of her last updates that she did. And I am going to join in on the Mandy's Makings 26 socks in 2026. I'm not sure of her exact hashtag, but I will link that below, and I'll be using it on my Instagram post too, if you guys want to knit along with that as well. She has the official rules posted on her Instagram page. I believe your socks need to be 50% Mandy's Makings yarn. So like if you use another yarn, I think that's okay. They just need to be 50% or more Mandy's Makings yarn. So in order to do the 26 socks in 2026, you would basically be knitting like a single sock a week. So not a pair. And that would give you 26 pairs by the time you're done, I think. I don't know. So that should give you 26 pairs. By the end of the year, you will have 26 pairs of socks if you stick with the 1 sock a week schedule. So that's my plan, and whips are welcome. So I went through my whips because you guys know I have a lot of sock whips that I need to get finished. I'm trying to pull the label out here so I can tell you what this is. And I pulled out, this is Mandy's Makings sock yarn, and the colorway is called Snow Globe. It is a fingering weight sock yarn. I think this is one of my favorite Christmas colorways, so I don't know why I stopped with it. But I'm going to be using my Vanilla Scoop pattern. So I've got my cuff going there, and starting on the leg, probably going to do like 60 rounds, 50 or 60 for the leg, just kind of see. I did a 20 round cuff. So like if I do a shorter cuff, then I'll do a shorter leg, if that makes sense. But I don't like to do like a longer cuff and then too short of a leg. I don't know. I want them to look proportional. So I'm just probably going to go until I decide they look proportional. So that's going to be the start of my Mandy's Makings 26 socks in 2026. And I'm not sure what I'm going to use next of hers. This one came with the little red mini also. I have a lot of Mandy's Makings. This whole shelf down here is all Mandy's Makings yarn. So all of that. So I think I could complete the challenge for 2026. There's definitely more than 26 pairs of socks worth of yarn down there. So I'm gonna see how far I can get, because I do have a couple of whips going with her yarn also. So for my second knitting goal of 2026, I want to knit more than I bring in, if that makes sense. Like, I want to knit more of my stash than new skeins that I purchase. So it's not that I'm not going to buy yarn, because I'm going to buy yarn. There's already 2 yarn clubs. I didn't do any yarn clubs last year. And I feel like that's one of the quickest ways to like bring in yarn without thinking about it, is to have like the monthly package coming in the mail. But I already have 2 that I want to sign up for. Mandy's Makings has a pink yarn club, and Stitchin' with Yarn is doing a peanuts yarn club. Like, I love the pink idea, and I can share that my daughter will take those. I'll love knitting it. She's going to love taking them. And then the boys love peanuts. So the Peanuts Yarn Club, that seems like a no-brainer, because I can still currently get like 1 pair of socks each out of a sock set for them. So I think, knowing that I'm going to be bringing in 2 skeins of yarn a month minimum, the Mandy's Makings 26 socks in 2026 will be a good one for me to participate in. And then I think what I'm going to do is track like how many grams I knit and how many grams I bring in, if that makes sense. Like, I want to knit more grams than I bring into my stash. So I have this little yarn scale here. I use it a lot for like when I knit my husband's DK socks. I was kind of worried, because I didn't have like a mini skein with that I would run out of yarn for those. So I use it for like measuring. I think I had 5 or 7 grams left of his. With this little one, you can pop the lid off and it clips on there, so you have like a tray that you can use. And then there's little buttons, so you like take the weight of the tray off first, and then you can put your leftover yarn in and see, like, you can tell how many grams you used either by weighing your leftovers, or sometimes I'll roll up the sock itself and put it on there to see how many grams that took. Or like, if you want to figure out, if you're doing scrappy socks and you want to figure out like how many grams does each stripe take, or for heels, toes, and cuffs, you're using leftovers, you can like knit your heel and then weigh your leftovers. Anyways, I think I'm going to use this and track how many grams I knit per month and compare it to how many grams I bring in, and see. I'm kind of thinking I might break even on that. But we'll see. So that's going to be my goal, is to knit more grams than I bring in for the month. Or should I go by the year? I don't know. I'm going to track it monthly, but I think it'll all like add up to the end of the year. So that brings me to my next point with that. I have this little notebook from Midwest Stitches. This came along with the Advent swap that we did. So I think I'm going to use this as like a project journal for the year. I really liked that it had the elastic on there to hold it closed. And then it's really cute, like Gilmore Girls themed. It's got the Luke's mug. And then the pages have like the little coffee cups on there. So it's got a good amount of space where like I can put project information, like what yarn, what needles, who it was for. I'll probably track like when I started and finished, how many grams each project took, and then give myself like a monthly roundup page. I was thinking too, with the little elastic, that maybe I could like tape in just a small little sample of the yarn, and I'll probably print off a picture for each one too and glue it in there. So I don't know, like a yarn scrapbook. I thought that would be fun for me, like motivating to record the information, and then fun to look back on like at the end of the year, keep track and see like what kind of progress I made, and if I do like break even with my grams in and out each month. So I'm not sure where she got this, so I cannot link that for you. I'm sorry, but I will link the scale on my Amazon storefront if you guys are interested in that. So this is also going to be 2026, the 5th year of the Adventurally make-along that I've hosted with Breaking Yarn. My friend Makealong, she is Breaking Yarn on Instagram, YouTube, So our Adventurally, get it? Adventurally make-along. It's going to start on January 1st and it'll run through March 31st. And the goal is to knit any projects you have that use your Advent yarn, because Adventurally, the little play on words there. You can use the hashtag on the screen over on Instagram. I'm going to include some links down below for the finished object thread and the chatter thread as well. We are planning to give out prizes, so if you are a maker who wants to donate a prize, you can email me, leahlovestoknit@gmail.com, or you can get a hold of McKaylee as well and let us know if you want to donate a prize. So this year I got several advents with plans of doing Vlogmas, and I did not. I guess there's a little bit of life mixed in with it. But one of the kids got really sick in the fall and he went to the hospital, not once, but twice, for several days at a time. His second visit, he got out on Thanksgiving. We did get Thanksgiving dinner on the table by 8 o'clock that night. Like, he's doing good, but after the 2 hospital stays, his primary care doctor told us that he needed to stay inside until we could get in to see a specialist for what is going on with him. So, long story short, he has been diagnosed with asthma, but we had to go see a specialist for all of this, and he's good to go now. Like, we're fine. But we missed out on a lot of stuff that you would normally do, so I did not do a Vlogmas, and all of my advents are super behind, which is fine, because I am going to catch up on them eventually. Get it? Okay, so my first advent that I'm going to be working on is in a Robin's Nest Knits bag. I have barely, some of the advents I got, I didn't even finish opening. Like, not because I didn't want to, but just because lots of overwhelm this holiday season with all the medical stuff going on. So I had big plans originally for this one. I saw a lot of people crocheting this advent. Curly Girl Cozies on Instagram is one that I saw, and every time she posted a new update, I was like, that is what I want to do. So I did go ahead and get the pattern for that one. I don't think I'm actually going to continue with this, but it is really pretty. So in the future, I think when I have more time, I am going to crochet with an advent one of these baby blankets. But for now, I'm setting those plans aside, and I think I'm going to go back to trying the Scrap Witchery blanket. I had originally been using that one for, I have a Pokemon July, like summer countdown from Fangirl Fibers. And I've talked to you guys about it before. I have bought like larger needle sizes because I wanted to hold yarn together. The needle size that I had started with was too small for the DK weight yarn that I was using, because I was doing like 2 fingering weights held together. So I decided with this Stitch in with Yarn advent that I think I'm going to do the Scrap Witchery blanket, but instead of holding yarns together, I'm just going to go with like a fingering weight. And this has been all over Instagram already, so I'm not spoiling anything. Here's my attempt at a crochet chain, and it was like several hundred stitches, so I'm going to be pulling that out because I didn't get very far, and it kept getting twisted. Like, right now the frustration is not worth it. What I want to do with this is knit the blanket in time for his birthday, which is towards the end of January. So I think I'm going to use this main color skein for like the I-cord edge. But I did open and wind like my first 6 little bags. But I wanted to show you real quick the stitch marker that came with it, because that is so cute. And then I did buy, I don't think I have them in here, some Snoopy stitch stoppers from 3 by the Sea as well that I can use on the ends of the needle. And I bought those, and then I remembered I was crocheting the blanket originally, and I was kind of disappointed because like I wanted the whole theme to go together. So I have switched plans with this, and I'm going to be casting this on for my first Adventurally project. So I'll give you guys an update on that like in a couple weeks. So it's my first Advent project that I'm going to be working on. I will still continue these freckled whimsy socks as well, like through the Adventurally knit along. And here's my second one. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to this right away because I really want to focus on the birthday blanket first. But I think for all three of the kids, I'm going to knit an Advent blanket for their birthdays. The other two have June and July birthdays, so I've got a little while to go. It's just this one that needs to get done now. So this is a Midwest Stitches bag. This is her pink glitter vinyl. I'm not sure if she has any of these left right now. I got this during her birthday sale. She did kind of like pop up at the end of November, early December with a couple of really cute vinyl bags that she made. So I'm going to link that down below just in case they're still available. But I got the pink one for myself and the glitter doesn't flake off or anything. So in this bag, I have plans to do, this is the Anthology Throw by Curious Handmade. This one's been pretty popular too for Advents. And again, I didn't get very far opening or caking things up. I have the first 3 days here of the Granite State Yarns Winter Wishes Advent. My daughter is redoing her room. That was like her big Christmas present. And everything is going to be lavender and pinks. So when I got this Advent, it's kind of like pastel-ish winter colors like blues, purples, pinks. So we were thinking it would be really pretty to do the Anthology Throw in those colors. And then she's got like a little reading chair that she can put the blanket over in her room. I thought that would be really cute. So the goal for this one is I would like to get most of it done during the Adventurally make-along, but her birthday is not until June. And then considering like I have the next birthday at the end of July, like I don't have a lot of time in between. So I'm going to start with the Stitchin' with Yarn Advent and then move on to the Granite State Yarns. And then I'm going to pick up the Pokemon blanket I had been working on originally and finish that off for him because he's third in like the line of the birthdays. So those are my Adventurally make-along plans. Okay, I think that's it project-wise, everything that I've been working on at the moment. And then I do have some acquisitions to share with you. Some prize winners. And yeah, I think that'll be it. Okay, so prize winners, I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way right now. If you participated in the Knit People Knit knit-along over the last like 3 months of fall, September to November, check my last video. I am still waiting on 2 prize winners to claim their prize. So today is the 30th of December. I announced those earlier in the month. I think it's been around 2 weeks. I know it's kind of like hectic, Christmas, all that going on. So I'm going to give you about another 2 weeks to claim that prize. When I record the next video, if I haven't heard from those 2 winners, I'm going to go ahead and redraw and re-announce, redistribute those 2 prizes. So if you participated, make sure you watch the last episode because I really don't want you to miss your prize. And otherwise, I have the giveaway from Swan City Yarns to announce. So Carolyn, the dyer behind Swan City Yarns, sent over this sock set. This one is called Velveteen, and this is Under the Mistletoe, which I was laughing when she sent this over because also with the minis, this is the Under the Mistletoe mini set. I had gone to the Knit and Stitch boutique when I went to visit my parents in November, and I loved these so much that I bought them for myself while I was there. I bought the mini set and the single skein. They didn't have the Velveteen mini, but I think it's this one here in the sock set, or in the minis. Anyways, I had bought the minis and a skein for myself, and then when I did the Advent swap with Midwest Stitches, I also got a skein of Under the Mistletoe and put it in her Advent as one of the, like, I don't remember if it was day 1 or however I organized it, but I gave her one of these too. So I was laughing when Carolyn sent these over because she said they were her most popular Christmas colors. And I was like, yes, I have bought them several times. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the winners for those. So for the sock set, if this is your YouTube username, go ahead and send me an email, leahlovestoknit@gmail.com. It's also down below in the description box. And let me know your shipping information. These were available for US addresses only. So that is our sock set winner. And then for the Under the Mistletoe mini set, so you can see all of the minis in there. They're so pretty. So if this is your username, go ahead and send me an email as well with your shipping information. Also US addresses only, please. Okay, so those are our prize winners. So I have a couple of acquisitions to share with you. I'm going to start with yarn. So I had talked about my son having to go see a specialist to get his asthma diagnosis. So we had to go a few hours out of town. While we were there up in Albuquerque, we stopped by Nana's Yarn Stash. That is my favorite local-ish yarn shop. I don't have one nearby. The closest yarn shops to me are up in Albuquerque. So it is several hours worth of driving in order to get up there. So you know that if I'm already there, I'm not going to miss it. And every year since he's been little, he has come into my yarn stash and stolen a skein and wrapped it up and put it under the tree for me and said he got me a Christmas present. So this year he actually went to the yarn shop and he went in and he got to pick out a real skein of yarn. So we went to Nana's and Patsy, she's the owner, was there. She walked him kind of away from me so I wouldn't see what they picked out and made sure that he got a sock yarn. And this is the one that he chose. It is called Perfect Parking Spot During a Downpour, and it is by Wonderland Yarns. So the two of them picked this out. She wrapped it up in a bag. I thought it was funny when he went to go pay. I was buying yarn also, but we went to go check out and she's like, how would you like to pay for this? And he's like, oh, I left all my money at home. So I picked up the tab for him. And then he wrapped this up and he gave it to me on Christmas Day along with this one from 3 by the Sea, which he stole off my shelf and wrapped up before he knew he was going to the yarn shop for real. So that's been his funny little tradition. So he wants me to knit this into a pair of matching socks for both of us, which I thought was really sweet. So we got this one over at Nana's. I also got, this is the Southern Shuffle Monkey is the base. It's a tweed base here. I thought that was so pretty. The colorway is raspberry and it almost looked like snow to me. I got this one and then as soon as we left, I have been thinking about, it's the same skein, but it's on a light blue base and it is so pretty with the white tweed. Several hours to get back. So I looked up online to see if I could just order it and they don't have anything available online. So I might call because I really want it. So I might call and see if that's something that I can get them to ship to me anyway. I'm not sure. But anyway, so while we were there, I also got more. I think I got everything else is from Dye Monkey Yarns. This is the Vintage Christmas colorway. And this is just on the regular sock base. I thought that was really pretty. And then my husband was with us as well. So he got this one. It is called Pinion Trail. It's another Dye Monkey Yarns. So I'm going to knit that up for him. And then I just got a couple of stitch markers here. When I'm knitting socks, I really like a just tinier ring to be my beginning of round. And I have some where it's a ring and then it's got a super glued bead, where I don't really see it on here because they do say snag free. But where the ring clips together, there's a bead that gets super glued, but eventually I use one on a sock and the bead comes unglued pretty quick. And then it does snag. So I'm excited to try those. Okay, and then I also got these little cats. I'm gonna give probably one of these to my daughter. I don't like cats, but don't get mad at me. I don't like cats. But she really does. So I thought those were cute, and I liked that they kind of were like these two, not the dark blue, but the other two are almost like real cat colors. So I'm gonna share those with her. And then I usually don't buy stitch stoppers too often because they don't fit the US one as well. Like you can put 2 needles into one, but I like using 2. So I've been knitting more DK socks, and let me see. So this side of the snow globe is a little Christmas tree, and then this side is a house with a snowman. And they like match on both sides. I believe these were also from Fox and Pine, but I got these at Nana's as well, and I used them while I was knitting the DK socks for my husband. So that's everything that I bought in person. I only got to visit just Nana's yarn stash while we were up there. We went like on a Monday, Tuesday, and we stayed overnight because our appointment was so early the next morning, like 8:30 in the morning, and there's no way that I could drive the hours it takes to get there and be there on time without waking up at a crazy hour. So we went up on Monday, and we got there on Monday with plans to go visit. All the yarn shops were closed. Every single one of them was closed on Monday. I was so disappointed. So we just did a little pool time, and he went over to the bookstore and picked out like some books and some games, because once we got on the road, I realized he had only packed tablets. He packed the iPad, and then he packed his learning tablet. Like you can't go sit at the doctor's office with a backpack with like every different type of tablet. We need books. We went to the yarn shops on the second day that we were there. And then some things that I've gotten in the mail recently, I was really excited to get this bag from my friend Nicole. She was Cozy Corner CK on YouTube and Instagram. She's just rebranded, I think would be the word, as Shacked House. So I'm going to link her down below. She is reopening her Etsy shop. I do not know if she's going to have these available, but she sent me this as a Christmas present. It is so beautiful. I just love it. And on the inside, she used, like, you can see, I'll go this way, the polka dot lining, and then such a pretty fabric for the pocket. I'm going to use this even though it's past Christmas. I have a hat that I'm making for my husband that I need to cast on, and I'm probably going to use this bag for that. I had placed an order, I showed you guys last week the Oslo hat that I'm working on for my daughter. I haven't shown it again because I just haven't worked on it since, but I'm using parcel fibers for that, and I ordered 2 more skeins of her Transcend DK in the blue hydrangea colorway. So I'm making an Oslo hat for my daughter. I have yarn to make her a pair of mittens, and then she also wanted a scarf. So I got a lot of suggestions the last time. I'm kind of going back and forth between like the Jaunty and the Sophie shawl, I think. So when I ordered the yarn, I had the Sophie shawl in mind, so that might be what I stick with because I'm not sure if I have enough for the Jaunty. And when I got my package, I guess there was a coupon code that I could have used, and I didn't realize that. So because I didn't use the code, I didn't use the code. So she also included this really cute pair of earrings. They're little moon-shaped earrings. They're really cute. I'm excited to wear those too. So thank you, Liliana, for that. That was a nice surprise. And then I did order some more Swan City yarn. She had a couple of Christmas colorways. This is the Silent Night colorway, and I just thought my husband would really like that. It's got like kind of a green and brown in there, and Carolyn had it paired with Velveteen, which is this mini from our giveaway. I think that goes so beautifully together. So I'm going to take the Velveteen out of my mini skein set, and I'm going to turn that into a sock set and make those for him. I'll probably work on that for next Christmas. We'll see. And then, so the other skein I got from Swan City Yarns was the Glad Tidings colorway. That is really pretty. On the website, I think it was paired with this one, the Cheer Mini. I really like that combo. You can see like down towards the bottom, they match really well. But when I opened my package, Carolyn had sent over 2 other minis that also go beautifully with this. So I'm not sure how I'm going to work that, but I really do want to use like all 3 within here. I don't know if maybe I'm going to make like a pair of socks for me and a pair of socks for my daughter and use up these between the 2. But they look so good together. So I think I'm going to do that. And then for my husband, I'm going to do this one with my Velveteen mini from that mini set that I have. I have 2 more things, or 2 more yarns that I got. This is Florida Girl Fibers. This is her Merry and Bright colorway. She just released this one also this year. And then this is the 3 by the Sea Christmas Time is Here sock set. I think this one is a Charlie Brown theme. And it was like one of their first minis mystery sets that they released, and I think that was like before I became obsessed with 3 by the Sea yarn. So I have it now. I got a couple other bags from the Midwest Stitches update. I showed you my pink one, the pink vinyl, and I also got the purple glitter vinyl. This is a medium and this is a large. And then I don't think she has any more of these left at all, but I really loved the coffee on the vinyl. Those were so cute. And it's got the green glitter at the bottom. And I really like the zipper too. Like it just goes together so perfectly. So I got a couple bags from her. I don't know if she still has any of those left in stock. And I don't think she's going to be updating again. I think it's just kind of as she makes them, she just puts them up. And then I also I have not opened this, but I received my Mandy's Makings New Year set for 2026. I don't think she has any more of these either, but it is going to be a New Year's Eve sock set, a 2026 Progress Keeper, and light bulb stitch markers. So I still have last year's New Year's set. So I'm gonna, I think, work on last year's New Year's set as well as part of my like whip down, I guess, and towards my 26 Mandy's Making socks in 2026. So I'm probably gonna open this one up tomorrow for New Year's Eve, but I may not cast it on. I should probably pick up the old one, last year's set, and go ahead and finish that for 2025 and then move on into 2026. Something else I wanted to share with you that I found over on Amazon. Amanda, Mandy's Makings, actually shared this a couple months ago on her Instagram. But it's like a box that you can order. I don't want to dump everything out. But it's a Velcro closure. I think it's like a drawer organizer. But I loved how it had little slots in it. So you can roll up your pairs of socks and stick them in as you go. And I told you that my daughter has taken most of my socks. So there you go. So I just ordered a couple more. They come in packs of 2. So I have the 2 brown ones that I've been using because they kind of go like with the color scheme here in my room. So I have one for my socks and one for my husband. And I like them so much that I went back. I got a pair, like it's a 2-pack of gray ones to give to the boys, mostly because their socks look the same, like size-wise. I do try to do something different for them. Like if I do colored heels for one, I'll do a contrast cuff for the other. Like switch up so they can see, the difference. But in the moment, a lot of times they end up grabbing the wrong socks. So I got a 2-pack for them, and I'm going to split up their socks into the 2 gray ones. And then there was like a kind of like a creamy beige color as well that I got to put my daughter's socks in. And so I think like with my 26 socks in 2026, would be nice if I could knit more than that, but I would like to start filling up those compartments in everybody's little box of socks. And I thought that was such a fun way to organize it. So I have those linked down below in my Amazon storefront as well. I do have a tiny bit more yarn to show you. This was part of my advent from Midwest Stitches. So she did like a day 1, a day 12, and a day 25 gift. So we did like a scrappy advent swap. So we each took scraps out of our stash. I think we were doing around like 5 to 10 grams of scraps and put those in our little bags. So you got a scrap to open every day. And then it was funny because both of us had put like a couple of full skeins in there throughout like different gifts you could open. I didn't really label mine too much. Like I think one was for her birthday, one was day 1, whenever. Open them whenever you want. I'm not there to see if you're opening them on the right day. But this was her day 1 skein, and it is bamboo pop sock, which I have not used before, but some of my knitting friends were talking about this. A couple of them got it, and I'm excited to try that out. And then I think this was my day 12. Woolly Mammoth dyed, and the skein is called Just Peachy. So that was my like day 12 gift. And it has a little Woolly Mammoth. There you go. A little Woolly Mammoth stitch marker on there. And then for day 25, let me see, it came with this notebook, which I've been using for podcast notes. And then this one too that I'm going to use as a journal came with this. And it came with one of the bags also that I showed earlier. On day 25, she had this notebook that I've been using for podcast notes, and it came with this pink skein. This is Circus Tonic Handmade. I've never heard of them before. The colorway is called Ribbon, and it's on their Jubilee sock base. And I think this might be the same. She just released a podcast. It was Christmas Eve. So she made a hat with this colorway, and it was really pretty. And then the next day I opened it up and I had one too. And then she also included this little Valentine's Day bag. Super cute with the avocados, and everything matches so cutely. So I was really excited about that. Thank you, Danielle. Our advent swap was really fun. For December, I ran out of things to watch while I was knitting, which sounds silly, I know, because everybody's doing Vlogmas, but we had so much going on, like life-wise, that I couldn't even remember like whose Vlogmas I had watched and whose I hadn't, and so many notifications were popping up. So I got a little overwhelmed, and I decided I'm going to come back after like Vlogmas was finished for everybody. That way I could just pick one and watch it all the way through. So I'm going to get caught up on those. In the meantime, I was reading this book. It is by Kristen Hanna, and it is called The Nightingale. I haven't done a whole lot of reading lately just because I homeschool my 3 kids and we're reading all the time. I read a lot of kid books, but I don't read a lot of adult books. But some of my sock knitting was like more vanilla because I was working on Vanilla Scoop, working on the Santa's Acid Trip, and the socks for my husband. So it was just like a lot of vanilla knitting. So I was able to read the entire book in the month of December, which is pretty exciting for me. If you have some reading suggestions, send them my way down in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys are reading. I did go to the library and I put a hold on like all the next couple of Kristen Hanna books. This was so good. And they've been recommended to me a couple of times, and I just haven't been able to track any down. So I got 2 more that I picked up from the library the other day, and I have a bunch of them on hold. If you have some book suggestions for me, leave them in the comments, and I think that's it for today. Okay, bye.